What's good, y'all? I'm gonna just be going over the one trade that I took today to make $340 on my Alpha Futures account. There were two decent setups that occurred today, but I was only able to take the second one. The first one I feel like was a way better play, but unfortunately I was stepped away from my computer and I wasn't able to take it. But in trading, all you can really do is give it your all, and sometimes things like this will happen, and you just don't want to get upset over it. I'm slightly butthurt that I wasn't able to take it, but all I can do is, come back tomorrow, try my best, and give it my all. So on a day like today, unfortunately, did miss out on that, but I will still show you both the potential plays and then the one that I took to make money. And I recorded the trade on my phone today, so I will insert that video on the screen when I show the trade that I take, just for proof of my executions. So to come into the day here today, I feel like the draw was pretty clear. We did unfortunately have we do have a Powell speech tomorrow, and then it was a no news Monday, so I was kind of expecting some sort of chop, but the price action ended up being kind of clear. But like I said, since I was expecting chop, I was thinking, all-time highs are the target since we're at all-time highs, but we might not get all the way up there just because I wasn't expecting too much from today. But I also kind of marked out just some of these other highs up here for us to potentially reject off of. But I do want to say, even though I am marking all these out, if we're being honest, once we push all the way up to here, I like having them marked out just to see, but if we push all the way up here, we're probably going to continue to all-time highs. So just something to take note of, but I do have all these marked out as potential liquidity targets. So like I said, coming into the day, I feel like the bias is kind of clear. We want to go higher. I'm not really looking for any lower prices. So coming onto a lower time frame, hold on, market open is about to happen. Okay, there we go. So that was the first 5-minute candle that played out. After a candle like this, I feel like it's pretty clear that we might actually have good PA today, and we are trying to come higher. This is a decent displacement off of open on a no news Monday, so this looked kind of promising, and I'm thinking that we want to now look for potential entry up to these all-time highs, honestly, because this is a good displacement candle off open, at least to these highs for sure. So I'm waiting. I'll go back to the 5-minute. I see that we had a leg down, created this 5-minute gap, and this seems like a good setup for me. I will take some accountability today. Things were clear, and I probably should have taken this on my Top Step and Alpha accounts together to make a lot more money, but just because I was expecting not much, I should, I didn't go too crazy, but I honestly should have. This was clean. So like I said, we create this gap, and then pretty textbook, we tap into it. So as a continuation trader, I see that we're tapping into gaps. I expect once we invalidate this move that we're just going to get a clean leg higher, and that's exactly what happened. We came down, tapped into this gap on the 5-minute, and we got a 1-minute invalidation of this move. This is about to become an inverse gap as well, so I would have personally entered on this here, and then I'm thinking that I probably would have ended up just going for probably like a 1-to-1 targeting this, just because like I said, I wasn't expecting too much out of today, but it's very reasonable to target the all-time highs on this for a better R, and then stop loss probably a little bit below this low here. And then yeah, I would say this would have been the move, and I would have been able to catch way more on this. You would have gone also break even at this internal high. So yeah, after this leg, you would have gone break even on this trade. And then let's just see, spoiler, it does, and it would have ended up tapping the all-time highs. I mean, you should have got filled on this, even though it didn't come through, and then it tapped again. So you would have got filled on one of these very likely, and that would have been the trade. You would have caught 44 points. I generally just trade one mini, so I would have caught about $900. So it was unfortunate to miss out on this, but I still was able to make some money, and I will show you the trade that we took to do that. So coming back onto the 5-minute here, one thing that you'll see is when we did come up to these all-time highs, we tapped them, but we didn't actually push through them yet. So I'm seeing that we created an equal high, and as we know, all-time highs is already a very strong draw for price, and additionally with equal highs above here, this just becomes like extra strong. So in my brain, I'm thinking like any one of these candles should just push through this, but if we do get some sort of retrace, I'll definitely catch like I'll definitely be looking for an entry back up to here because this is just such a strong draw for price. You know, I don't like to say anything with 100% confidence in trading, but this was almost like one of those draws. I would say I was almost 100% confident this was going to get taken. Like the chances of us just edging this hard and then rejecting are so low in my head that I just want to catch an entry to this if I'm able to. So I see we actually create one more equal again. So like I am at this point, I have so much conviction for those highs. So I'm just looking for a retrace and then an invalidation of the retracement leg to show that we're continuing in that direction. So we start coming down, and I also want to show you here. I'll get rid of some of these lines. I want to show you here, we created another 5-minute gap on that leg up, and we perfectly wicked into it, like probably to the tick, maybe. Yeah, it looks like one tick here, wicked into this gap, started rejecting nicely. So literally any rejection of this leg is going to be a clean setup for a long. So I think it was this next candle here. And yeah, this was the entry. I pressed long right here, and then target was just this all-time high, and then stop loss, I think I just went for about a 1-to-1. Maybe I might have slightly tightened it up, but yeah, it was something like this. So about a 1-to-1. Again, a solid trade. Like if you look at either of these setups, they're pretty much identical. Leg up, small retracement, and then invalidation, move higher. Same thing here, leg up, small retracement, and then invalidation, come higher. And then by the way, for a trade like this, I don't really have a break-even point set. I always want to go break even at like these internal highs to show like a sweep of liquidity for us to no longer continue in the same direction. But for something like this, there's not really a high for us to sweep. Like I guess if we take out this high, but I wouldn't really consider this a strong liquidity point. Like I just want us to either continue up to these all-time highs. Like I said, I have a really strong draw here, or if it doesn't and we come down to my stop loss, then it is what it is. I feel like that's valid. So no break even on this, just looking for either TP or the stop loss, and we had a small retracement into this 1-minute gap, rejected, and off of that it was pretty much hitting. So on something like this, I think this was a really good trade. If you wanted to take a play like this, you also could have looked for potentially a better risk to reward. I mean, we kept just continuing higher today, and because we're at all-time highs, we expect to come higher. And then additionally, I don't think the S&P hadn't yet taken out its all-time highs, so you could have longed until maybe the S&P got up to its all-time highs or something. Like you could have just kept looking for more out of this. But me personally, because again the conditions, I was thinking it might be bad, I just wanted to be out of this trade once we took out this really strong draw. So about, like I said, $340 on the day. Anyways, thank you if you made it to the end of the video. I hope you were able to catch one of these plays today, and if you weren't, hopefully you learned something from this. And if you did, please leave a like, show some support. I appreciate you guys greatly for watching any of my videos, and I'm gonna continue to keep posting these videos and hopefully help you guys out for the free. So thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.